Welcome back to the Moments Beyond Swiping podcast. My name is Devin Goslin. I'm the founder and CEO of Moments Beyond Swiping.
Hey guys, I'm Carmelia Ray. I am the co-host here at Moments Beyond Swiping, celebrity matchmaker and online dating expert. And this podcast is being brought to you today by SkyZone Mississauga.
That's right. SkyZone has 4 locations across the GTA, one in Vaughan, Whitby, Toronto, and Mississauga. And today we're actually filming out of the Mississauga location. SkyZone has collaborated with Moments in order to allow you to come and share and build wonderful experiences here in these trampoline parks. And I tell you, I play in these parks with my fiance, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I've played in these parks many times. I'm a mom. I've got 3 kids in various ages. And this is fun for my toddler, my teenager, and my adult. And tonight in particular, they've got things like glow-in-the-dark jump from 7 to 9 on Saturdays and Friday nights. They have a lot of different activities that you can participate in, including co-ed dodgeball.
Yes, it's insane.
Last Friday, Devin and I were at the SkyZone in Toronto, and he was letting these kids have it. I got to tell you, you were merciless.
Yes, very competitive.
Very competitive. And yeah, we wanted to talk, first of all, of some of the benefits of jumping. And I'll just start with saying that jumping as a first date option is really one of my favorites. And we're just going to list about 5 different points why we're big fans of jumping here at SkyZone. Number 1, it's fun. It's
a ton of fun.
The best benefit, in my opinion. We're going to lead with that it's a fun activity. What else?
Yeah, it's extremely fun, and it improves your cardiovascular and your oxygen intake, obviously. Here, you're working out. You wouldn't even believe the amount of energy it takes to jump here for 1 hour. You leave soaked, you leave exhausted, and you feel good.
I know, because you're thinking an hour jump, right? Like, what's an hour going to do? Try 5 minutes. 5 minutes of consistent jumping is a lot. And by the way, the next day, your abs, your quads, like, you are feeling spent.
So, Carmelia's husband and I did a battle on a battle beam with the things. So there's
like a
across.
What do you call that? What do you call it?
Looks like a big Q-tip.
What do you call it?
So we did a battle.
Who? Battle beam. Yeah, kind of like in the warrior games. You see them, right? So
Carmelia's husband and I had a war on this battle beam with these giant Q-tips, and it was just crazy. And Carmelia had mentioned the muscle fatigue you get. My shoulders and forearms were sore, and I jumped on my legs. So I don't know how that all works, but it's a good workout.
Never mind that they were 2 grown men having an incredible time.
Yes, it was great.
Puffing their chests out a little bit. We won't say who wins, but they got each other pretty good. That's the other thing. The long-term benefits of jumping and activities like this are you increase bone density, and ladies, it prevents osteoporosis. Who wants rickety-crackety bones when you're older, right?
I agree.
My bones crack, like I need to go jump.
And then coming here for a date, I mean, never mind, a cafe's great, a restaurant's great, but there's pros and cons to it all. Coming here for a date where you're really releasing those endorphins and really just having a great time and laughing together, I think some magic can happen.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the pheromones are out.
Yeah.
You get a little whiff of that pheromone, and you can tell if there's a genetic compatibility.
Love is in the air.
40% of compatibility is actually genetically predisposition. So there is something to sweating and working out that, brings out the animal in you, and that's a good thing.
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air. Okay, so those are the benefits of jumping and choosing SkyZone. The other thing is there's multiple locations. So depending on where you are, coming after work, or whichever location is close to you, you can go to skyzone.com/GTA and get all the information about choosing the location and all the fun activities that you can do.
Carmelia, myself, and SkyZone will be building events throughout the weeks or months that you can come participate in, as well as building incentive plans for you members to come and enjoy this and feel a little better about it.
We'll have date nights, we'll do dodgeball. On that note, we're really here to talk about dating safety, both online and offline.
That's right.
So with that, Devin, I'll have you lead with what Moments Beyond Swiping has built in already to help protect its members from dating safety?
Yeah, there's a lot of concerns around online and offline dating these days, and some of the biggest problems that are in the market right now, we've combated right out of the door. So, for instance, verifying a user. So, ensuring that a user is who they say they are, and some steps that we've taken to make that verified user is the user signs in with their cell phone number. So we know who you are by your mobile device. Secondly,
oh, so that's a requirement then. You need to enter your phone number.
Yeah, you don't verify an email, you verify a phone number.
Great. And so they get an SMS text.
SMS verification note, and you put in your code. That lets us know, more from the side of people with, bad intentions may not be comfortable giving up that information.
Right. Okay.
Right? So it's a first step there. Secondly, is we do offer a verified stamp, like Instagram would do, for instance, where you've got this emblem that says you verified your profile. And what that means is that when you upload your photo, we have integrated a process that verifies your profile photo versus a prompted photo we ask you to do, and we personally verify those images to ensure you are that person you say you are.
Wait a second. So they can upload a photo.
Yes.
Right? And if it's 5 years old, which many people do, unfortunately, that's one thing. And then they've got to do a selfie?
They have to do a selfie. So we have a randomized prompt process. So for instance, a picture would come through that would be a peace sign, or, everything's okay, or one finger up, and you have to match that prompt, and it is personally verified.
Oh, so it'll say, take a photo with your index finger up. And you've got to do this, and then your team goes through and checks out the uploaded photo.
Compares
and the
two. Compares the two. Exactly right.
I think the next step I'd put in is to say, how old is this picture?
Yeah, no, I know there's
but that's a great start. That is a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some processes that have automated that process, and I don't like that idea. I want to keep it manual. I want my team putting their eyes on this. A huge factor to what we believe in with Moments is safety and security, privacy, especially in the world we're moving forward in. We want to know that the members on our platform are real and are there with the right intentions. So for instance, even when you're going through our algorithm, if you go through it too quick, we send you a notice. We know when you're going too fast. If you go through it too quick again, our team gets a prompt, we remove you. If you didn't take our algorithm serious enough and didn't put in your time and investment, which is so important, it would have that member removed. Therefore, we're bringing on serious onboarding members only.
So it really sounds as if you're taking into consideration not just the photo verification, but that your users the intent is for long-term meaningful connection, not just, swipe right, swipe left.
Absolutely.
That's why it's called Moments Beyond Swiping, guys.
We have the ability for our users to book a free photo shoot. For those who aren't comfortable taking pictures or don't have any great pictures, we'll professionally take your picture, which also means we get to personally verify you, and you can't go above that step of verification.
That's amazing.
They would get the final step of verification badge in doing that. Now, I know not too many people would come out and do something like that, but for the people who do, we get to verify them fully.
You know what? I work with lots of offline clients who are using online, but whenever I've ever offered a free photo shoot, I got to tell you, Devin, they're lining up. So if we're offering a free photo shoot, you're participating because you need that. And you can also use your photos for other, like your social media or
absolutely,
your LinkedIn,
they're your photos.
Right?
They're your photos, yep.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
So now that they've been verified, they're in the system, what are some of the blocking features? Like what happens when somebody experiences a user with behavior that they just is inappropriate and they just want to block that person? Is that possible?
That's totally possible, of course. So you can report a user, but even before that step, you can hide one of your matches because they may have not done you wrong, but you want to see another member fall in their place. What hiding does is allows that user that you've hidden to reach out to you still, so it hasn't severed that connection potential.
So let me ask you, the block, I'm clear that when you block someone, they're gone. Right?
Yes.
They're gone. I'm never going to have to deal with that person again.
That's right.
Now, the hiding feature that you're talking about is they're just not visible to you, but it doesn't prevent them from messaging,
From reaching out
correct?
from you.
Okay,
And-
hiding just because you don't, for whatever reason, you're thinking, that's not a connection for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And the reason I even bring this hide feature up, aside from the block feature, as Carmelia mentioned, is that what we have implemented, which I consider to be revolutionary in the messaging process, is that members face all sorts of harassment with text. Well, among the matches that we get in the platform, you have the ability to message every member, which is 12. Now, what's pretty neat is that you can see a fair bit of information on that user to get to know them, and then you can message out to them. Here's the catch. Once you message that user, you can never message them again until they message you back.
That's important. That's important.
On top of that, you can see whether that user has read your message or not. So you don't have to worry about this ghosting, this ghosting nonsense that's going around. You can see the user may have read your message, they didn't reply back to you in a timely fashion, and that's it, you move on.
However, if you get one chance to make a first impression, literally one chance to message this person, don't waste it on a hey, what's up?
Exactly.
Like your picture.
That's exactly the point.
We'll talk about that in another podcast, but from the safety aspect and from the fact that Devin just mentioned, ladies, gentlemen, you have one chance, so make sure that you're sending a meaningful message and that you've indicated to that person why you're interested in them, right? Otherwise,
Exactly.
if you lead with something that's overtly sexual or it's just not a match, you might get blocked or reported.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing we're going to talk about is protecting your personal information as well as protecting your financial information, because that is a challenge for some people, especially for those who don't know that there are people online that might want to take advantage, that actually want to take advantage and duplicate your identity theft as well as scam you.
Yeah, it's a sad truth that does exist online. In doing my extensive research, I came to realize that online dating financial fraud was the #1 fraud in Canada, with something like $67 million frauded from people through online dating. And I was devastated when I heard that fact and knew that we had to take that by the horns and change that.
Absolutely, because a lot of times people they're just not suspicious. They're just not aware that these things can happen. So one of there's so many things that are built into safety within the platform, such as being able to have that communication within the platform, not sharing phone numbers, right?
That's right.
Talk a little bit about that feature.
Yeah, so in messaging, we've eliminated the ability for you to send out a phone number, send out an email. We want you to stay engaged on the platform, because there's always things you got to watch out for. When we relate back to this financial fraud that happens online, it typically happens on free dating sites, which there are many and abundant amounts. It's less common on governed and paid platforms like Moments. My team is vigilantly going through activity and profiles, even if we have 100,000 profiles, and we will ensure that all of our users are real. And
here, for example, I know it might seem like common sense for some people to say, don't share your address or your personal information. But yet the experts, the ones that are skilled at pulling a con, are the ones that are going to build so much trust, such as, oh, where do you live, Devin? What area are you in? Oh, I'm in Thornhill. Oh, yeah? They might know that area, like near this place. Oh, yeah, I'm right around the street. Oh, I live on Church Street. Really? I live on Temperance. What's your address? Maybe we'll meet up. And then right away you're in this free-flowing conversation, not thinking that this is a trained professional.
Absolutely.
That actually will geographically find out where you are, pick a common place, like, hey, are you near the Starbucks at this corner? And then ask you for your address.
Yes.
And someone's so unsuspecting that they're like, sure, I'll give you my address.
Well, and the real shame is that these phishers take advantage of someone who's looking for love or looking for that connection. So you get on the platform and you're excited and you receive someone who's digging in for all this information before you feel comfortable. Again, it comes back to trust your gut. If something feels like it's going too quick, it's because it is.
Yes, so do not, on the personal information side, do not share your social security number. Do not share your phone number. Do not share your address. Do not share your place of business or workplace. Because if they know where you work, they could easily find you and stalk you and run into you. They know what you look like, so you could be unsuspecting. Guess what? That photo may not be that person, although that's not going to happen on this platform. Sorry.
That's right. That's eliminated.
That's not going to happen on this platform. Having said that, if they do get on there and they're just really talented with the gift of gab, that personal information, keep that sacred.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about finances too. There are romance scams. And how people get embezzled with the money situation is they will say things like, oh, Devin, I don't know where you've been all my life.
Absolutely. That's exactly what they do.
I can't come to the, I'm over here. Like usually they're like overseas somewhere and they pretend to be these either in the military or they're successful businessmen and their work has called them off and they're in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or some exotic place. And then guess what? Their son's hurt, or, oh my God, I lost my wallet. This never happens to me, because they've got all these pictures of them in extravagant places. And you're thinking, obviously they're not broke, but they're gonna ask you for money.
Yep, or literally plan a trip with you or to come and see you because they're coming over to you and their credit card got denied at the airport. So transferred over quick because I'm getting on my plane in half an hour.
Oh my God.
And they got you.
That's it. So those are things that you need to be mindful of.
Absolutely.
Being too, falling in love with you too quickly, using words like, where have you been all my life? And just really, that is suspicious behavior. When someone has never met you, never spoken to you, and is proclaiming their love for you, that is a massive red flag, big red flag.
Absolutely.
The next thing, what other suspicious and unusual behavior is there, Devin, that you can speak about online? We talked a little bit about falling in love too quickly, asking for money, asking for your personal information. All right, so here are some of the common scammer behaviors online to be wary of and report immediately or block. We want you to block and report this behavior.
Yes, absolutely, please.
One of them is refusing to meet. If you're in a conversation with someone and they keep coming up with excuses why they can't find a date, why they can't go on a date, they're not in the country, that's a huge red flag. So my rule of thumb as a matchmaker is if you cannot coordinate a date within 2 weeks, in fact, it's easy to coordinate a date tomorrow. Within 2 weeks is the maximum amount of time that I start to think this is a waste of time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
The other one is, yes, repeated excuses for not being able to, set up a date. We did talk about that.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a problem if someone doesn't want to set up with a real life date with you after time. A lot of what we live by in moments and what we're trying to produce is taking the online world offline, but we just want to do that in a safe manner. So our end goal is that you actually find your friendship, your relationship, or the one, whichever that be.
Exactly.
And we just want that done in a safe manner.
Yeah, and that happens offline, right? You use our platform to connect, and we make it very easy and seamless for you to book a date like in this spot right here. So if that's not happening within 2 weeks, huge red flag. The other thing we talked and touched about is somebody pressuring you to share your private information. Either where do you work, what's your address, I need money, all those things, huge red flags. So we've covered quite a lot of online dating safety tips while you're online. And what's really important now is also dating safety in real life. So that's our purpose, is to connect you online so you can be out there in the real world. So Devin, let's start with important safety tips for dating. So number one, they've planned, they've connected, they've communicated, open tables opened up, they've booked their date, and they happen to choose a Sky Zone location. Then they meet in person. What are some of the safety tips that you recommend for people who are dating in real life?
Well, again, it's making sure that you really trust the person you're dealing with and check your emotions and make sure you're not responding emotionally and just falling for this person who has the ability to take advantage of you in an emotional state, because that's that's how it's done. That's why the fraud is so large, because when you catch someone in an emotional state, anything is possible. So just be aware of that, and that's super important.
I think on a first date, first of all, the purpose of the first date is to determine chemistry. Obviously, you're not going to share your whole life story. That may not be obvious to some people, but you really want to use your first date to just get to know that person, to figure out if there's chemistry, and also to have fun, right? You want to explore a little bit about who they are, what their interests are. Do you have common values? It's also not the place where you ask for address and give up your work information or all those personal things.
Absolutely.
Because if you miss the radar online and then in person they're asking you financial questions and where you live and money and all of those things, that's still a red flag.
Yeah, and things like going on a first date in the bush for a hike. I would not recommend that.
At midnight.
It may be fine. Midnight hike on the Humber River at midnight. Yeah.
Right.
Avoid drinking, avoid drug use. These sorts of things on a first date, not recommended. It's not smart.
I do have a personal 2-drink maximum, and for some people, 1 drink impacts their behavior. I'm a lightweight. Like after a glass of wine, I shouldn't be driving. So for some people, you know what your limits are. Drinking is not allowed on these premises, number one, because you need to be cognitive. You don't want to hurt yourself. Same rules apply. If you feel as if being on a substance is going to impact your decision making, you definitely want to avoid that. The other thing you want to talk about is creating a safety plan for dates. So often when I coach women and they're on a date with practically a complete stranger, right? Especially when they're online. Not necessarily matchmaking, because both parties have been vetted. But in the case where you're going on a date with a guy and it's an evening date, I always advise ladies to tell a friend where they're going, how long they expect to be there, to do a call after the date. I'm done, I'm on my way home, so that your accountability partner or your safe dating partner that's not at the date knows not to worry about you. Right? So do you have any comments to say about that?
Yeah, we follow up with you after your date. So we know when you've actually planned a date through one of our processes, and we follow up with both the members afterwards. We think that's pretty important because, bottom line is it is supposed to be about just finding love and doing it safely.
Absolutely. And the other thing, always meet and stay in public. Again, I've had ladies be invited, just happened to a girlfriend of mine. They happen to live in the same complex. So the 2 buildings, it's actually in City Place. They both live in City Place. In one of the, there is a ramp that connects the condos together, okay? So this gentleman happened to live on one side, she lived on the other. And maybe it's an innocent thing, but he asked her, said, hey, why don't you come over for drinks? This is still a perfect stranger. I did not advise her to go. She did take my advice and not go to his place for drinks. But gentlemen, inviting a woman to your house for drinks that you don't know, that is not safe dating practice, in my opinion. And ladies, do not offer your place to bring a guy to, go on a date. Unless you want to hook up, that's a different category.
I was just going to add, it might not necessarily be dangerous, but going to a place for a first date for drinks, it's kind of, the intentions are preset, I think.
Yeah. So if you want to give off the impression that, you want a serious long-term relationship and concerned about safety, do not invite people to your homes on date number 1. Okay.
One more thing I want to touch on is arranging transportation. So going on dates.
Go.
Going on dates, how are you getting to where you're going and how are you getting back? And when you haven't arranged for transportation, it's the perfect opportunity for your co-date to offer up a ride. And that may not be the best idea. And the way we tried to keep you safe in that manner is we've enabled you the ability to book your ride to and from with Uber inside of our app. Keep you very safe that way. Always have your ride out.
I don't know how Uber I don't know if Uber really gets the impact that they are making it so easy for people to date. And it's a built-in safety feature because you're not driving your own car. They can't get your license plate. And as you said, they can't walk you to your car in the middle of the night when there's no cars around in the parking lot.
Uber comes right to your phone.
Exactly.
Not to mention, we know where you are as our member, and then we know that you've booked an Uber through the app. So you're in a it's very safe, it's very well managed. And we're able to keep a lot of safety through that.
So there you have a lot of tips, both online and offline. And to end our segment, we just want to run through a few dating do's and don'ts. All right, guys, I'm going to run through the dating do's, and Devin's going to run through the dating don'ts.
That's right.
So, dating do's: inform your close friends and family who you're meeting, where you're going, and when you expect to be home. An absolute do. Devin?
Dating don'ts: don't go on your date without telling anybody who knows you.
Oh, scary.
Yeah.
Dating do: schedule dates in public places with a lot of people nearby.
Dating don't plan a date in an isolated place. No Humber trail hikes at midnight.
Okay. Dating do's: find your own transportation to and from the date. Uber, thank you.
Don't let your date pick you up at your home residence or where you work. Not a good idea.
Dating do: monitor your alcohol. My recommendation is a 2-drink maximum, as long as you're coherent.
Do not leave your personal belongings or drinks unsupervised. This has been said forever, but it's for a reason. Don't do it.
Dating do: have your phone, wallet, and personal items with you at all times. Make sure you know where they are.
Don't ignore your gut feeling. It's usually always right. If you feel something's off, it most likely is.
Dating do: feel free to leave at any time. Anytime you feel uncomfortable, exit stage right.
Don't go any place where contacting you will be a difficult process.
Charge your cell phone, and if you need to, bring a battery backup. Dating do: make sure you have a dating safety plan. Plan to contact a friend before and after your date. And maybe there's a code word, the 911 to your girlfriend, where it's her cue to pick it up and say, you gotta go.
My kid's at home sick.
There you have it, guys. These are our online dating safety tips. Should we give one last note to our sponsor?
Yes. Well, thank you for watching. First of all, again, comment down below on things that you would like to hear or things that you want to know about, and we'll also let you know things that you should know about. Comments, questions, concerns, they'll be put in anonymously, and Carmelia and I would like to review them and talk about them in further podcasts down the road. Another shout out to Sky Zone. Thank you for hosting us for this podcast, and you guys got to check this place out. It's amazing.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.